Hello crafters, I'm Michelle and welcome to Mixed Media Art and our series on gel printing fundamentals. So in this episode, we're going to answer the question, what paints do I need to get started with gel printing? And I'm so glad you asked. With gel printing, there certainly are quite a few fundamentals, the type of plate you use, and of course the type of paint you use is the next big decision you'll have to make. And there are quite a few options, and hopefully you've already got some of these at home, or you can start thinking about what you might be using your pages for and what paints might suit you best. So let's jump in. Okay, so the great thing about gel printing is that you've probably already got a lot of these products already at home. I'm sure most of us have got some good old Joe Sonias and some folk art. So we're really starting with some decent quality craft acrylics. I think that's a good place to start. So whether you've got folk arts, whether you've got your old Joe Sonias, some good, decent brand, sort of dollar store acrylics is always a good place to start. We stock the Dina Wakley paints as well as the Dilutions paints, and they're some of my favourites. And most of these prints that you'll see us playing with and we'll play with over this series, we'll be using these two ranges of paints. Now, like I said, any decent quality acrylic paint is fine for getting started. What you need to consider is it needs to be in good condition. We want it to be fairly runny and quite new. We find that as the paints get older, they get a bit gluggy, they separate, and they just don't flow as well on the plates. So making sure that it's in good condition. And also, of course, we want to make sure that you know your paints. So which ones are more transparent, which ones are more opaque, and then we can consider how we use those and layer them. So if you've got something like a high free flow acrylic, or something like the golden ones these ones are quite transparent and it says there quite clearly. These are great for creating backgrounds and also using for the pickup prints, but we want to be mindful if we want to have solid colours, these aren't going to give us the same effect. Now likewise, if we've got something a lot like heavy body, that sometimes doesn't move around the plate quite as well. But I would encourage you to play with the paints that you've got to start off with, and then be mindful, like I said, if they're really old and they're a little bit gluggy, then consider getting some new ones, investing in some cheaper paint so you can get the feel for it. And as we always say in mixed media, we want to make sure we experiment, we understand which ones are more solid and opaque, or which ones are more see-through, translucent, and then that'll really help how your paints come together. Now, of course, there's a lot of other water-based mediums that you can use on your gel plate. You can certainly use watercolor paints or gouache or anything like that. I would be very careful using anything that needs perhaps a solvent to clean it. So anything that's water-based is usually pretty good on the gel plate. And again, it's got two sides. So if you do end up staining it, it's not the end of the world, but do just be more careful if you're using something that might be more of an ink that has more a solvent base in it that could potentially damage your gel plate. But for starters, definitely just use some gorgeous acrylics that you might already have lying around. You know they're going to give you lots of bright colors. We can build up layers, and that's certainly what we'll be talking about. So I hope that answers your questions of what paint you need to get started in gel printing. So like we said, the paints you use are just as important as the gel plant and the types of papers we use for our gel printing. So get out all of those acrylics, give them a really good shake before you jump in, and then just start having a play. Which ones move around really smoothly? Are you finding some are getting a bit thick or glucky, and perhaps those heavy body ones are not the best thing to use on the gel plate? And then sometimes those really thin, free-flowing, transparent ones can give you some interesting effects, but if you're finding you're getting frustrated with that, then come back to your medium level acrylics, and that should really help you out. So as always, any concerns and questions, pop them in the comments, give us a like, thumbs up, click the bell, and of course subscribe to our YouTube channel. And I really hope that's helped you today answering the question, what paints do I use to get started in gel printing? So this is Michelle signing off. I hope you have a crafty day.